Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Remember, if you like it, subscribe, give me a thumbs up and tell your friends. So today I am going to tell you about July 18th, 2009 and how my life changed forever in 2 ways.
It's Brie OCD time, baby.
So July 18th, 2009 started as an ordinary Saturday. I was 27 years old, about to be 28. And I went to open bar like I did every Saturday. I only had a couple beverages early in the day and went home because I needed to get ready for my hot date with Justin Hansey, my now husband, spoiler alert. We really didn't go on dates. We had just started dating. We had known each other for 6 years before that about. We had started dating January of that year, so about 6 months. But I don't think the kid had a girlfriend since high school, and I didn't want to pressure him. We were friends first, so like everything was just, never discussed, never talked about, just kind of like moved along. Anyways, we went for a date that night. I was falling in love. I was in love. Hell, I was already in love. And I didn't want to say that to him because I didn't want to pressure him. So I told him I was smitten, a little smitten kitten. Anyways, I told him I was smitten, and that was my way to say I love you without saying I love you and freaking him out. So we were having a nice little dinner. I am like on top of the world. I haven't had a boyfriend in 6 years, okay? Since college. So I'm top of the world, and we're done with dinner, and my buddy Brooke texts us to say come to his house over in PB. We were having dinner in PB literally like 7 blocks away. And we start to ride our bikes. I'm in front of him because Sally is slow. He's behind me. And we get to the intersection of Cass and Grand, and the light is green. So I keep going. But as I enter the intersection, the light turns yellow and like immediately turns red. And when the light turned red, I was still 3/4 of the way across. And the guy at the light coming up Grand, so going east on Grand, gunned it and hit my back tire. And next thing I know, I'm picking myself up off the ground. Hansey comes up behind me, and we take my bike off to the side of the road. I look into the mirror, like the window of the Purple Cafe, and my front teeth are cracked off. So these teeth, not this one, but these 3 front teeth are like cracked off, and I am freaking out. And I'm looking, and I'm like putting my tongue against them, and I'm putting my tongue against the bottom teeth, and all of these bottom teeth are literally like floating. And I'm like, well, my teeth, because I had nice teeth. And he's going, don't touch them, stop touching them with your tongue. And I'm like, my teeth, my teeth. The guy who hit me didn't even get out of the car. He pulled up across the street and just sat in the car the whole time. That was very nice of him. I appreciate the concern. So the cops come, they take our statement, and Hansey and I's both are the same statement. I'm going across the intersection, the light turned yellow, it turned red before I got 3/4 across, it was really fast, and the guy, you heard his tires squeal and hit me. So they want to call the ambulance. I don't want to get into an ambulance, but the only thing that convinces me is that my teeth are cracked off, so I'm like, I need help. So Hansey takes my bike back to my house, which was up the street. I used to live on Grand Avenue, like Grand and Gresham. And I get in the ambulance, and I'm in the ambulance, and I'm laying there, and I remember to go, like, take my arm and like fix my hair, and my arm literally goes and like plonks down on my face. And I turn to the paramedic, I go, I don't think that's good. Spoiler alert, it was not good. So they take me to UCSD La Jolla. I asked to go to Scripps because that's my hospital, and I love Scripps. Up until that point, I had never had anything major happen. They take me to UCSD, and I am stuck in the emergency room waiting room for hours. And there's like homeless people screaming around. My chin has been split open from smacking it on the pavement. So I'm bleeding. I have a neck brace on, and there's blood running down my throat. And I'm laying there, and I'm like, Hansey wasn't there yet. I'm like, I need paper towels or something for this blood dripping down my throat. So I go ask, I say, hey, do you guys have any napkins or something? They go, oh, go get it in the bathroom. Really? So I go in the bathroom to get them, and there's someone's urine sample is on the sink of the bathroom. I'm like, oh, this place is really nice. This is really sanitary. Anyway, Hansey shows up. I'm laying down on this bed in the middle of like the waiting room, and I start apologizing to him because I feel bad for putting him through this. I mean, I look like a nightmare. I mean, it's like, this was a big thing that happened, and he showed up at the hospital like my knight in shining armor. And what do? What I've been holding in, and what I didn't want to say to him to freak him out, I say, I'm so sorry for putting you through this. I feel so bad because I love you. I said, I love you. While I'm in the hospital with a neck thing around my neck, blood dripping down, teeth cracked off, and I'm like, I love you. And guess what, people? He said it back. I couldn't believe it. So here, on one hand, I am like on my deathbed. Not really, but I'm jacked up for sure. And on the other hand, my heart is soaring because this kid just said, I love you back. And I somehow got the balls to say it to him. So I'm like, both ends of the spectrum here. So I end up waiting there for a long more time. They end up stitching my chin, and I don't know if it was there or Scripps. I think it was at Scripps, I'm pretty sure. But they take me back for an x-ray, and they realize that my jaw is broken here and here, and my elbow is broken. 2 breaks or more is considered trauma. They don't handle trauma there. Where do they handle trauma? At Scripps. Hallelujah! Can I get an amen? So they send me over to Scripps. I get back in the ambulance. I go over to Scripps, which is like right next door. And as soon as I get to Scripps, I feel like enveloped in a warm hug. Like I just felt so warm and comfortable out of that emergency room. No homeless people screaming at me. And I knew that no matter what happened, I was going to be okay. So I ended up staying in Scripps for 7 days. They had to perform jaw surgery on me. They had to cut into my mouth. Yeah, you can see it, sorry. They had to cut into my mouth down here to lift this up to put the 2 plates in my face here. I'll show you some images. They had to cut under here, and that scar is actually a really small scar. They had to cut under here and lift this flap up to put plates in my face. I have like a circular plate over here. And that was the scariest because the doctor had to tell me in advance that was a very risky surgery because I could lose all feeling in the right side of my face. When they went in there, if they hit any nerves, muscles, if there was any damage, I might lose all motion in the right side of my face. And I remember asking, do I have to get the surgery? And he was like, yeah, you do. So I had my jaw surgery here and here. I had my jaw wired shut for 7 weeks. And this thing, he locked this thing up like Fort Knox. And I will show you a picture, warning graphic images because it's nasty. But he locked it all up, and then there was wax all over it so that all these wires wouldn't continue scratching my mouth. And it was hell. It was hell. I was going to say it was terrible. It was hell. For 7 weeks, I couldn't eat or talk. My aunt and mother came out to visit with me because Hancy, they would have came anyways, but we were supposed to go back to Rochester for me to meet his family for the first time that following week for his mother's 50th birthday. And I couldn't go, obviously. I was supposed to go to opening day at the races. I couldn't go to that either, obviously. But it was hell. So my mom and aunt came out, and I remember my aunt tried to make me a smoothie, and the little seeds from the strawberries, like the teeny little black seeds, 1 sip, totally locked up my mouth. I was like choking. I couldn't breathe. And we were like, oh my God. So I couldn't even eat a smoothie. I had to have Boost and Ensure for 7 weeks. I remember coming down one night and just like crying, like I just want a wheat thin. I'm like, I just want a wheat thin, just one. Like you couldn't. I don't know how Kanye wrote that song Through the Wire with the wire, because his jaw was not wired shut like mine because I couldn't talk at all. And I remember just crying. I just wanted a wheat thin. I just wanted food in my stomach. If I had a little treat, I'd have some chicken broth. Oh, such a treat. But just to switch it up from the Boost and Ensure. So while my new love was forming, and my mom and aunt were there with me, I was writing emails to Hancy because I couldn't talk. And I wrote some really heartfelt stuff, and just how I still have the email to this day. I'm gonna start crying. I wrote some heartfelt stuff, just thanking him for taking care of me, because at that point and now he was my rock. and he was my sanity. My mother gets a little frazzled when bad stuff happens, so he was like my calming point, because obviously I was going through a lot emotionally and physically. My elbow was broken, and they put a huge screw in my elbow with all these metal rods. I couldn't move that elbow. I couldn't shower. I couldn't put my hair up. I couldn't eat. I couldn't anything. And so I went through a really rough time. I was out of work for 3 months, and I just wrote him some love letters, and we would email back and forth, and that was really the start of our bond. That was the start of our kind of love story, even though it started 7 months before that. It really was the beginning for us of just letting all caution go to the wind. And apparently me smacking my face on the pavement is what he needed to know that he loved me. Really? 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 That was the beginning of our love story, as well as one of the worst times of my life. So obviously I wanted retribution. So I went to a lawyer, and he did some digging, gave us interviews, and apparently the guy that hit me was from Sweden and was in a rental car and didn't have insurance. So the only insurance was through the rental car company, and it was like 10 grand max, and it wasn't worth it for him, because I don't know, like injury lawyers, they only get a certain amount of the money, so it wasn't worth it for him to pursue this case. And then also it wasn't cut and dry, because we got the police report back, and I almost died the day I got the police report back, because I know what happened. I know without a doubt what happened. And some witness was saying that I went through a red light, and I did not. It was red when I got 3/4 of the way across. He said I went through the red light. He saw it happen, and it's not true. Like, it's not true. So now, because of this guy, I was deemed at fault, because I didn't pull my bike over to the side of the road and hit the walk button. Who on a bike pulls over to the side of the road and hits the crosswalk button? You're on a bike, you're not walking. I also didn't have a light on my bike, but it was 7:30, yes, but it was the middle of July. It was still light out. It wasn't bright lights like you see right now, but it wasn't dark out either. It was still light out at 7:30. It was like 7:15 or something like that. So like, these things that they were saying, like, it wasn't true. And the guy wasn't drinking, so it wasn't like clear cut that he was drinking and didn't see me. But later on, what is also frustrating is that they changed the timing of that light. The city of San Diego went and changed the timing, because as soon as my side of a light went red, this side went green. And normally there's a delay, red, delay, green, and there was no delay. So like, that right there tells you something was up there. So my light went red, his went green, and he just gunned it and went as soon as it went green, and I was still there. So, you know, I went through a lot of years of dwelling on this guy and why would he do that, and his information was in the police report. So many times I'd lay up at night and want to call this guy and say, why would you do that to me? Why would you say that when that wasn't true? I just don't understand why you would say that. So I went to therapy for a long time after that. I went to therapy, and I was going, I think, like a couple times a week, because she was trying this cognitive behavioral therapy on me, and it wasn't working. And I'm like, I'm paying my time, and I'm going every week, and I'm like, that's it. Today, if I don't get any breakthrough, like, I'm done, or at least go like once a month or something. And what do you know, that day, she kept like having me break down the day and break down and like say, okay, well, what bothers you about that day? And I said, you know, what that guy said. And then it's like, what did that guy say? And we literally broke it down to the base. And what I came up with, and I was like bawling my eyes out crying, is that if that guy didn't say that, what would have changed to this day? What would have changed? And really, nothing at this point would have changed, except I would have had money. Right? So I would have had money to pay my bills. I would have had money in my pocket, and that's the only thing that would have changed, right? My teeth would still be jacked up. My elbow would have still been broken. That's the only thing that would have changed. And I felt lucky that at least I had love that I didn't really have before. So like I had to let it go, and I dropped, all pursuit of any kind of lawsuit against him, against the guy that hit me, because it's like I had to let it go and I had to move on, and I couldn't keep harping on this incident and this day. So I let it go, and from that day forward, I decided nothing would have changed, nothing would have been different, and I just needed to move on with my life, and that's what I did. To this day, I still have issues, not with my elbow. My elbow's fine. I had another surgery in 2011 to take those screws out because they were backing out, and I literally couldn't even put my arm down on a pillow. I had this big bursa sac, and it looked like Peter Griffin's chin, like a big ball sack on my elbow. So I had surgery again in 2011 to have those screws taken out. And they were huge. I don't know where the hell they are. I keep everything. I'm like an organized hoarder, and I can't find them, but I have pictures that you'll see the picture. They were huge. I mean, it literally is like this big with all these metal spikes in my little baby elbow. This is what the scar looks like today. He cleaned it up a lot when he went back in the second time, because it used to be way bigger because the guy was dealing with, a huge arm with this huge bruise. I mean, the whole thing was swollen. Even my little hand was swollen. I'll show you a picture now. You can see how skinny and little they are now. I went to therapy for a long time. I've had 2 crowns. I've had 6 veneers in. I had to end up getting the front 4. This tooth that didn't crack off ended up being the worst tooth of all of them. I've had 7 root canals. I had to go back 2 years ago and get these 2 done. They were starting to discolor. And when he was just gonna fix the veneers, I said, I still have feeling in them. And I had already had root canals. So I went back in, had 2 more root canals. And that's it. I mean, that's the biggest thing is my mouth. And now I have TMJ. So I have the 2 plates here and a plate up here. But the TMJ affects me over here. And what started as like once every few months, maybe twice a year, turned into like a lot. I would wake up in the morning tired and go to yawn, and this jaw would go doom doom, like it literally pops and comes back out, and it's like shocking. So now I've been going to acupuncture for my jaw. My teeth, my jaw was wired shut for 7 weeks, and all I did was put liquid painkillers in there and boost and ensure and not be able to brush my teeth. So my teeth got really jacked up after that. Fillings, cavities, crowns, veneers, stuff that I never had issues with before, which that's why I get emotional when I go to the dentist. I literally just went 2 days ago, and I didn't cry. I didn't cry. So thanks Dr. Joe and PB, who I just switched to only for insurance purposes. Mod Scott Dental did all my veneers and have been taking care of me for the last 10 years. And I love them, but they're not taking my insurance, all that stuff. But I didn't cry. And that's huge. That's huge, because the dentist is a really sore spot for me, because I wouldn't have any of these issues. You can see my teeth. They do look nice though. And they're nice and clean. That's all Mod Scott did these for, and countless crowns and whatever. But I mean, above anything, I'm lucky. I have my husband by my side. If anything good came out of this accident, it was the love that we have for each other that made, snapped him into reality and made him realize that he loved me. He's like, oh crap, I really love this girl. So all in all, I'm a lucky girl. I have love. I got a jacked up mouth and I have love, but my elbow is literally fine. I lift. Watch my powerlifting series. I'll put a card up at the top and a link down below. But I'm doing great besides that. So that was the day, July 18th, 2009, that my little life changed forever. So, everybody's going through something, people. So have a little compassion, have a little love for your neighbor, and just make it a great day. I hope you enjoy my story. Remember, if you like my channel, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and tell your friends. And if you want to see more of my husband's dynamic and love story, watch our happy hour with the Hansies every Wednesday live at 6 Pacific Standard Time. Let's go. Peace.